My name is Erin Liebl, and I'm going to reflect on a flipped classroom for a few minutes. So, my overall impression of the materials in this module were that they were very helpful in my understanding of a flipped classroom and how this method actually works. Um, I liked reading the reasons that supported and also that were against the flipped method, as well as watching some of these videos of how teachers implement this method into their classrooms. So, what I found the most insight from was the news article on Byron High School. Hearing how their math department implemented the flipped classroom into their school made the method seem so real to me, and it showed me that it can actually work. I also really liked how they used it in their math department because their funding wasn't there anymore and they didn't have the textbooks. And it also really made the students excited to do their homework and really want to learn about math from this method, which I think is great because not everyone likes math. And our world is changing and the technology is becoming a bigger part of our lives, so why not use it to help the younger generations learn from this? So, next, there is a few things that I want to tell you that stood out to me about the flipped model. One thing is you can have more one on one time with the teacher. If a teacher isn't lecturing the whole class period because the students had already watched the video beforehand, then the teacher has more time to walk around the class and answer any questions the students might have instead of students not being able to ask any questions or get help on their homework during class time. Next, students learn at their own pace. So there's not everyone in the class has the same level of knowledge on a certain subject. So if they can rewind and go over a lecture until they fully understand it, that will benefit that student as well as the whole class because they aren't taking class time for the teacher to go over a topic again and again for one student to really understand it, and the student can just rewatch the video in class and ask questions then when needed with the one-on-one time with the teacher. Thirdly, it encourages mastery learning, which kind of goes along with the point I just said about the one-on-one or about the learning at their own pace, sorry. But students can learn lesson after lesson, and teachers don't really have time to stop to see if everyone is following along in a regular classroom. But in a flipped classroom, the students use their time to learn the lesson and they can keep watching that lesson until they fully understand it and get help from it in the class time. And they mustn't go on until they have mastered that lesson. So a flipped classroom really helps a student out in that case. And lastly, I like it because it addresses absenteeism. Many students go on vacation, are sick for long periods of time, or have to miss school because of extracurricular activities. And these students shouldn't be punished for these occurrences by not being able to learn the lessons because they're missing class time. So a flipped classroom allows them to learn the lessons at their own time if they miss school. And I'm not saying that students should just miss school because uh, they have this aid for them, the flipped classroom. But if it comes up and they have a legitimate reason to miss school, then they should be at ease knowing that their grades are going to be okay. On the other hand, some reasons that come out that are against the flipped classroom would be the digital divide. It's a big problem these days, and not everyone is fortunate enough to have internet access wherever they go. And sometimes when they actually have the time to do their homework, they don't have that option to even go to the library or get the internet access. So it's a really big problem these days. Uh, and do kids really need more homework? That's a big question. Um, Students might be getting more work after school, like watching the videos, but I think in the end it'll pay off because by watching those videos, then they have more time in the class to ask questions on their actual homework with the help of their teacher. And last, do kids need more screen time? Parents don't like that kids are always on their phones or on the computer with all the technology, but our world is changing and the technology is becoming bigger and bigger, so why not embrace it? And what technology tools would I need to successfully integrate the classroom? I guess I would need a smartboard and some kind of screencasting software for my tools. Um, I would mostly need things that are very similar to what the Byron High School needed in their article, since I'm going to be a math teacher, and that was uh, in their math classroom that they first flipped the classroom. And that should